everyone, so I wanted to do a extra separate video aside from my pregnancy vlogs about what steps we took and what happened during our TTC journey. Our journey was actually pretty long, not as long as I know other women go through infertility and everything like that, but it was a very long journey, and there were parts of me that wanted to share the journey with everyone online while it was happening, but it was a really hard place for me, and the fact that it took a while to get pregnant, I feel like I was in a really dark and down place while we were trying to conceive, that it was probably not a good idea because I probably would have just really negative and crying and complaining and like would have looked like I'm really ungrateful. I wanted to just kind of sit down. Now it's just something that's happened and I'm pregnant now, and you know, everything's okay. So I just kind of wanted to go back and tell you guys what happened, and maybe my story will help other women out there that are trying to conceive too. So I got my postpartum period when Cassian was 5 months old. So even though I was still breastfeeding, and I'm still breastfeeding now, I got it at 5 months, and it was very regular. It was very regular, like on the clock, and everything was fine. And something happened, I don't remember when, but around 4 months or 5 months, I think about 5 months, after having my regular period, something changed. I started having really painful periods, to the point, like the first 2 to 3 days were so intense that it felt like I was in labor. I would not be able to move. I would literally just lay in bed and I would cry. I felt like I was in labor. I was having really intense pains, and I tried everything. I tried Tylenol. I tried taking a warm bath. Nothing helped. I had some like strong medication that I was given for my like wisdom tooth extraction, and those were the only pain relief. That's the only pain relief I got. That's how intense it was. And I had pain like that, but it wasn't as intense before I got pregnant with Cassian. But it was happening, and it was pretty intense. It would be so intense that we would have to cancel our plans and we wouldn't be able to go anywhere because of the pain. It was really bad. After months and months, we reached the point where I was already 6 months trying to conceive, and nothing was happening. Another symptom that was off was my period. All of a sudden, they started to be very irregular. So they were regular, and all of a sudden the pains and the irregularity came. They were like 16 days late, they were a week early, a week late, they were all over the place. And you know, when you're trying to conceive and your period is 16 days late, it's pretty intense because you think you're pregnant and you're not, and it was really hard. Around August, September, at this point, we were trying to conceive for about 8 or 9 months. I made an appointment with a gynecologist, and because we ended up going to the ER when I had those really bad pains and they wouldn't do anything for me. I saw one gynecologist who told me that, it's really too soon. I don't need to be trying to conceive right now. I need to give my body a rest. And I was like, my son is 1 year and 3 months old, but I was just really offended by that statement from the doctor that I stormed out, and I went and I scheduled another appointment with the doctor right there, right now. But she was like, you know, we can do an ultrasound just to make you feel better, but you really shouldn't be trying to conceive. I was like shocked. Like, who says that to a person who's trying to conceive? Whatever. She scheduled an ultrasound, and I had an ultrasound in September of 2014. And the ultrasound showed that I had a very tiny cyst on my left ovary, but they said it was so tiny that it's nothing to worry about, but just in case, we'll do a follow-up ultrasound in December. I saw a different gynecologist after that. He told me, he's like, it's because you're breastfeeding. And I'm like, but I have my periods. I've been having my periods for 9 months. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. He's like, it's not your period. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And he's like, are you ovulating? I'm like, I haven't done the tests yet. I'm like, I'm pretty sure. And he was like, it's because the minute you stop breastfeeding, you'll get pregnant. So he wouldn't even do any tests. He ignored the pain. He ignored everything. He actually said that the pain was most likely Group B strep. Am I saying that correctly? Yeah, because when I went to the hospital, the only thing that they did do was they did a pap smear just in case I didn't have any STDs. That was all that they can do. And that came to show that I had some bacteria in it, and they said that could be causing the pain. So he's like, here, take a course of antibiotics, but that was not what was causing the pain. So I was pretty bummed out because I saw one gynecologist who pretty much told me you don't need to be trying right now, and then another one said it's because you're breastfeeding. So at this point, I was like 9-10 months into trying to conceive, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to see another doctor when I reach the 12-month mark, because that's when usually a doctor sees you. If that doctor doesn't do anything, I'm gonna try to go see my primary. So that was our plan. Meanwhile, I reached out to a lot of my crunchy natural friends who also been trying to conceive, and just I explained my situation. A lot of people gave me a lot of feedback. The one thing I started to do is I started taking Vitex or chasteberry. It's a natural supplement. It's just a plant. I got it off vitaminlife.com. It was like $4 for a bottle. And like TTC aside, it helps the female reproductive system. It just helps with menstruation, and it supports just the female organs and everything, and has helped women try to conceive and get their periods back on track. So I thought that was a very good thing to start taking because my periods were off. Another thing I started using was Progestins Plus essential oils. You guys know that I'm into essential oils. And it's a blend. It has wild yam in it, which is natural progesterone, and it is also called for infertility, like really bad menstrual pains, endometriosis. There's a ton of things that it helps with. So I started using those two things because at this point I was just guessing what was going on with my body, because I was guessing maybe an endometriosis because the pain was really intense, but no one was doing anything about it. So I started doing those two things. Within 2 months, my period started being completely regular, like 28 days. It was amazing. The third month after taking it, my pains went away. It was amazing because I knew when I was getting my period, I was already afraid. I was like, all right, we're canceling all our plans because I'm getting my period. I'm going to be laying in bed. I'm going to be crying. It was really bad. And I was so surprised that I did not have any pains. And then on the 4th month, I believe it was when we conceived. It was in December. December came and I had my follow-up ultrasound appointment. And that ultrasound showed that the cyst on my left ovary has grown significantly from September to December. It was like 5.5 centimeters large. And I've never had a cyst grow that big, so I was kind of concerned. So they scheduled an appointment, but the earliest I was able to be seen was at the end of January. So I was almost waiting 2 months to see a doctor. It was ridiculous. So at this point, I was kind of like, all right, well, it's January. January is going to be the 12-month mark where we're trying to conceive. I'm going to go see a doctor. Obviously, it's something, the cyst is the cause of all my problems, the pain and the irregularity probably. Even though at that point, I was already regular and I wasn't having the pains. I'm like, this is the problem. I'm going to go see a doctor and hopefully they'll start actually doing tests and starting to help me. Well, December passed, and at this point, I was just waiting for my doctor's appointment to follow up about the cyst. And then beginning of January came, and beginning of January, I am 9 days late, and I was like, okay, this is really weird because I've been regular. I'm like, but I was like, I'm probably not pregnant. At this point, I was 100% sure I was not pregnant. I wasn't going crazy, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just take a test just in case. And I actually took a test on January 7th, which was our Christmas, and it was positive. It was pretty amazing because both times with Kasyan and this baby, when I least expected it was exactly when I was pregnant. So I obviously called and I made a confirmation of pregnancy appointment. They scheduled an ultrasound. And the ultrasound showed that my cyst has completely disappeared, completely, which I thought was amazing. In September, it was tiny. In December, it grew like significantly. And in January, it was completely gone. So I truly believe that Vitex and Progestins Plus both have helped me whatever was wrong with me. Because to this day, I still can't tell you because I'm not a doctor. No tests were really done. Whatever was wrong with me was exactly what was keeping me from trying to conceive. It wasn't the fact that I was breastfeeding, because I'm still breastfeeding. And in addition to that, when the doctor told me it was because I was breastfeeding, I took ovulation tests for 2 months just to see if I was ovulating or not, because I did start to believe that maybe it was because I'm breastfeeding. They seemed very good because it was really light and then it would be really dark and then it would be really light again. So I knew I was ovulating and I stopped taking those tests. So that is pretty much my journey. I know I'm part of a few TTC. I was part of a few TTC groups on Facebook, and a lot of women, they don't really know what is going on. A lot of women have specific symptoms and specific things that they know what's going on, so they're striving to fix those issues to get pregnant. But when you don't know what's going on, that's the worst. And that was what was happening to me. And I know 12 months doesn't seem like it's a really long time for some people, but because some people go years without being able to get pregnant, and that is really, really hard, and my heart goes out to everyone who is going through that. And I really do understand that. It was really hard for us, but luckily God has blessed us and we did get pregnant. Bottom point is, I really, really believe in Progestin Plus, and I really, really believe in Vitex. I think those two things are miracle workers. I have a friend who wasn't getting her period for months. Like, she would go like once every 6 months with getting her period. And I told her about Vitex. She started taking Vitex. Within a month, she got her period. Like, Vitex is amazing, and they're all natural. There's no side effects. They're all like really good. They're breastfeeding safe. So if you guys having symptoms, you know, it helps with cysts, it helps with pain, it helps with just regulating your period. Because if you're not regulating, you're not ovulating, you're not doing what your body's supposed to be doing like every cycle, then it might hinder you getting pregnant, which I think what was going on with me. I think it was the cyst. I think it was a lot of things going on, and I'm just glad it balanced out whatever was wrong and it helped us conceive. I'm blabbing, but I just wanted to kind of tell you guys my story. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. If you guys need help like finding out where you can get the oil or you can get the Vitex, I can let you guys know as well. Like I said, it's Vitamin Life, but there's also different brands and stuff. So everyone else out there that's trying to conceive, baby dust to you all, and hopefully everyone will get pregnant soon. But I do know what a difficult journey it is, and so if you're struggling out there right now, I know how hard it is. Stay strong, and everything will happen in its own time. It's a really hard thing to believe in when you're struggling at the moment, because that's something I went through myself. But once it happens, you'll understand that everything happened right at the right time when it was supposed to happen. If you guys have any questions, leave them below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.